All right. Jeff Carroll, Sci-Fi Express Lane. I'm trying to get some light in here. There you go. All right. Writer, comic book creator, filmmaker. All right. So I have probably done this before. I'm not going to lie and say I think this is a new topic. But I will say that every time I do a topic over, it is deeper and it's, of course, more current. But there's something that I've gotten from the conversation with panels and Facebook and comic book store conversations that I want to add to it. So this one is kind of conversation that I had with a couple of people. One good friend, and another one is a wife of a friend. And I actually talked to her more than, well, we interact on social media more than I talk to him. And another one is like a family member. And all three of those conversations like happened around the holidays, and it pushed me to kind of respond in a way that I hadn't before. I don't know. I mean, I have from the beginning, I've always had people come up and say, "Oh, I'm not into sci-fi," and I used to just dismiss it as, "Okay, you're Christian. Okay, you're shallow-minded, possibly." What else did I think it was? You know, you're corny. You just don't like action. You like all that drama queen stuff. You know, you like drama. So I would dispute. You know, I would dismiss it, right, as just those things. But in this post-Trump second-term election era, I think my tolerance for shallowness, right, or what I perceive as shallowness, is gone. So when it comes to people saying, "Oh, you know, I ain't into sci-fi," or, you know, "I don't watch sci-fi," or whatever, I respond differently. I push back. I don't, you know, take it as a whatever, you know. So with that, I responded differently this time, and I was like, nah, I got to really mind your business. I have to see if I can bring this into you. We can't have a lack of intellectualism. I think sci-fi is the most important subgenre of film, literature, comic books, you name it. It's the most important because it employs so much and it offers so much. Not that there are not good stories in other genres. Come on, you know, even documentaries and nonfiction are powerful. But what makes science fiction so powerful is that it gives us a chance to look back at the past in a futuristic way. That hindsight is 2020 is a sci-fi term. And then looking towards the future, can you imagine what if we did this? Dreaming, working towards a goal, that's sci-fi. So with that, all three of my family member, my friend's wife, they all people who I respect their intellect. And that's why I think I responded differently, is because I respected their intellect. And there's no way I was going to accept. And I haven't gotten back to it. I just, you know, came up with one quick response, you know, but I wasn't going to accept, "Oh, I'm not into sci-fi." So I'm still working towards that solution. Goal is to get them to understand what sci-fi is. I actually hope I can get them to like it and become connoisseurs of it, like many of my friends are, because I just think the conversations that sci-fi produces are so necessary that when it comes to something like the future of America, which is a science fiction question, we got better answers, and we can understand kind of what happened and what went on, and, you know, better, right? So that said, I suggested, this probably 2 weeks ago, it was like immediately after the election, I suggested for my friend to watch Children of Men. And I said, I think that's good. I hadn't seen it from beginning to end. I still haven't seen it from beginning to end. In a few years, every time it comes on TV, I'll catch it. But I've seen it so many times that I can catch it in the middle, I can catch whatever, and I can skip the ending. I still got it, So I suggested it to him, and the other night, I was Googling. I was like, yo, have you seen it yet? Blah, 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 hitting them up. And then I realized it was on Amazon Prime. So I pitched it on social media, put it on my Facebook page, and then I watched it, right? Because I was watching Madness, and I had just finished Cross, and I was like, there is a lot of murder, urban drama, it's too heavy on me. Even though they're good and I'm enjoying them, I'm a space dude, So I put on Children of Men, and man, haven't seen it from beginning to end. And mind you, I did miss a big chunk, right? But I don't even know which part I missed, but I missed a chunk. And but I saw the beginning. I saw the world set up. I think it is more relevant than when it came out in 2006. I think, he wrote it in 92. I think it's real relevant to some thoughts that came from information that came out in 92 in terms of, or earlier, because he couldn't write it in 92. He came out in 92, so he probably wrote it in 90. Anyway, it takes that long to write a book and get it out, whatever. Especially back then, might have wrote it in 89. Anyway, in 88, 89, 90, we started getting information on birth rate decline. And man, lo and behold, I think that is one of the biggest underlining, motivating factors in this Trump election. And as they say on MSNBC, white people are scared of being a minority and living in a minority dominated world. And you take down America, right? We've already been the global majority because of just sheer numbers, but in those global majorities, there's not one people of color that offer a nuclear threat, right? So if you take America, now you're like China, Russia, like everybody else, you know what I'm saying? And I think when Barack Obama did that, it caught him off guard, and they was trying, they had the birther stuff, they was trying, but they were still Confederates, they were still running around, mismatched with their whiteism or whatever. And they finally got it together. It was like, immigration is a powerful thing. Even in the movie Children of Men, not only do they deal with the birth rate, they deal with immigration. And I have no idea why in that world people are coming to England. There's nobody having children anywhere in the world. I don't even know why that would create a post-apocalypse. No, we stop producing children, so we start destroying government and we start destroying society. Maybe that's what it is, but I can't imagine that, right? We don't even see signs of that now. However, the movie was set to take place in 2027. In the book, it was set to take place in 2021. So it's different, ideas and predictions of what the future would look like. Okay. So I don't know, but they also called them in the movie Fugees. And that's saying they're refugees. Okay. In America, we got two terms. We got immigrants, which is the decent term, and then we got got illegals. And, you might even call them aliens, right? But mostly it's illegals, saying that they came to the country illegally. Now, in Children of Men, they ain't coming there through immigration. They coming there illegally. So the heat and the hate in the real world is more than the writer could have imagined. But even in that, in the book, in the movie, the refugees, for the most part, are black, right? And I think in England they just got Indian-dominated minority class that now owns most real estate in England. Probably by volume, they probably don't own the important stuff, but they made significant inroads in England. And there's some, of course, Europe has always had gypsy, from the time of the gypsies, they've always had, white migrants that just, migrate around Europe. But in Children of Men, it's mixed group. You get a feeling that it's black people, but it's a mixed group. Maybe you don't see too many black people in the citizen population, but you definitely see a mixture in the Fuji's population. I get the feeling, the way they say Fuji, and me not have picked up on it in 2006 when it came out. But I am definitely interested in looking in the book when I get a chance. If they refer to the refugees as Fujis, or they use it interchangeable with blacks, or another negative word. I don't think they use the N-word in England like they use it in America, but they may be talking about the same people. And I want to know, I'm going to look into that to see if the refugees was really just black people, African immigrants and stuff like that. But my question is still, why would they be coming to England? Nobody having children nowhere in the world, so whatever, So that movie is something that I feel is something that could get somebody into science fiction. I don't know what got me into science fiction. I think it was Star Wars and the fantasy of it all. And, I took time after I thought about it. I posted Children of Men, and I said to people, what other movies, could somebody be suggested that could get them into science fiction? And people started submitting lists, a bunch of, 20, 30 movies. And I said, damn, these are good ideas. I came up with my own list, and I was really tightening up my list from the beginning. I was like, I just can't put any science fiction movie. You just don't say, hey, watch this. And I think sometimes that is what our problem is. People suggest movies to people and books to people that don't really hook the person, because it's not something that they are looking to get from sci-fi. I don't know, but I do think, some science fictions may be too deep for people. Like, you can't just start off with Space Odyssey. That's going to put me to sleep. It's not going to get me into sci-fi. And then you have people had suggested Back to the Future. And to me, that's very white. It's very 80s. It's corny to me. And it's philosophically sci-fi, as opposed to, I know he made the DeLorean, and I know he made the flux capacitor, and I know all of that. But that to me seems fantasy sci-fi. I think when you're dealing with something, and people said, you suggested Children of Men, and where's the science in that? And I think it's not a produced science. It's a direct result of biological scientific understanding. I don't know why women in Children of Men go on without children and infertile, but we know in the world we live in that we're suffering from birth rate decline right? Not in the people of color community, and that's another thing about children and men's accuracy. But what do you call it? The produce food, processed food. We have environmental decay, the quality of air, the quality of the world around us. Women are having children older because of social price, cost of living. Women have to work. Men aren't, can't just have a single income family like you used to be able to. So a lot of those things, contribute to the decline in birth rate. I don't really know anything. I don't know any other thing that points to it racially, but I do know it does have racial undertones because the level of reproduction rates is hitting the white community harder than it's hitting the people of color community, and I don't know why. But anyway, when it goes to Children of Men and it goes to some of those sci-fi movies, it got me on the track. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about some of the movies that I suggested and some of the movies that other people suggested, and I may have to do 2 parts to that because that's going to be long, just like this one was long. Anyway, if you like what I talk about here, please join in the conversation. If you got something to say, hit me on Facebook when I repost it, or hit me right here on YouTube, or you can share it, right? That always helps. Like, subscribe, and that's it. All right, thank you. Peace.